Auburn basketball fans are taking any amount of small nuggets of hope that the season is coming that we can get as we sit through the mundane nature of preseason. But Auburn's Pro Day is a signal that that day is drawing closer. Well, in this video today, we want to talk about Pro Day, some things that were said by Coach Pearl, just kind of give you an overall update of the program around the basis of Pro Day. Before we do that though, always want to make sure to remind you to smash the like button if you enjoy this type of content. We always want to thank members of our booster club like Dustin Smith, who help produce videos like this. Let's be honest, we'll take it, right? It's basketball. We can talk about it. It's something exciting, especially the way football is going right now. Auburn's Pro Day was held on the Plains during the middle of their preseason practice. And there's a lot of good information that came out from this, mainly from Coach Pearl. So this will almost be like a video, kind of similar to what we do with some of the press conferences for the Auburn football coaches and players, where we just kind of break that down. But there's information that was shared online, and just overall people have been talking about some key points, 5 things that I want to discuss from Auburn's Pro Day and the discussions that came out from that. Takeaway number 1 from this was some roster/team updates. Now we all know that Coach Pearl and Chance Westry both had some work done on their knees together, which was pretty interesting to find out that that actually happened. Still seems that Chance is going to be 3 to 4 weeks out from being able to get back into full swing of things, which, if my math is correct, that probably puts him right at the start of the season, if not maybe a week or so into it. I would imagine that they're not going to push things with him, so don't be surprised if that 3 to 4 weeks maybe extends a little further than we hope it would, just to be on the safe side of things. In terms of Coach Pearl, he even joked during the press conference he held that he seems to not be progressing as quickly as Chance does. I mean, frankly, that's a little obvious that would happen. He's younger, he can heal a little bit quicker, but I hope that Coach Pearl continues to have his knees continue to heal and get better. Another important roster note, probably the biggest thing out of this whole Pro Day experience, was that Alan Flanagan is back on the floor with the team. If you'll recall that he took a step away from the team for some personal reasons and was just going to be out indefinitely, he is back out there competing for his spot, and I'm a huge Alan Flanagan fan and really rooting for him, and hope that this is this season where he kind of gets back to the Alan Flanagan that we knew at the very start of his career here at Auburn. And finally, just an important note, especially for Pro Day, the only other person other than Chance Westry who wasn't able to compete was Zep Jasper, and unfortunately he had a stomach bug. And I frankly hate this for the guy, because I do think that he's one of those guys that gets underappreciated, but scouts would notice the type of things that he does very well, even though he doesn't do a lot of the scoring. So I think that is probably not a big detriment for him, but I just hate that he wasn't able to go out there and get eyes on him in terms of NBA scouts. All right, now let's talk about Pro Day, what happened and everything. How does this thing go about? What's the makeup of a Pro Day? Well, usually scouts come in, or coaches sometimes, but this time it was 28 scouts from 28 of different teams in the NBA. Now there's 30 total, so only 2 were missing. That's an incredible feat for Auburn to get that many teams to come here. And Coach Pearl even noted that in his press conference, about 4 to 5 years now that they've been able to entice these guys to come in and see the talent that we're producing here at Auburn. It's a huge testament to what Coach Pearl has accomplished in his time here on the Plains. So they did a few drills, as you might expect, and then some 5-on-5. During that 5-on-5 play, they had a blue versus white game, and the blue team ended up winning 48-47. Now, the interesting thing, if you go and look at the roster, and there's been a lot of other media entities out there sharing some of the stats and stuff who were able to attend, you'll notice that in that roster, it seems like on the blue team, pretty much everybody that you would expect to play at least got some time, if not the majority of their time on that team. And there was some switching in and out, which was good to see for some of the names that we don't see a lot playing a lot at Auburn, at least yet. So that is probably an indication right there, if you looked at the blue team, who you can expect to see playing a lot this season. Now listen, Pro Day is not a make or break day for everybody in terms of making it to the NBA. Coach Pearl even reiterated that. It is simply an opportunity for scouts to get their eyes on these guys and help them understand their measurables, what they're seeing from them, things that they can work on. So when it comes crunch time for some of these guys that want to make it to the NBA draft, what they need to be focusing on this season to ensure their place to have an opportunity to play at the next level. The last 3 points here are going to be some things that Coach Pearl addressed in his press conference, which are very interesting. It was a very good press conference, got a lot of good information from him. One is that they're going to be having a closed door, not open to the public or even media, I believe, practice or scrimmage, really a scrimmage with UAB. And I believe they did this last year as well with them, but up there, this time they're coming down there is what my understanding is, which is a really good thing. Coach Pearl is very high on UAB, even said that he believes that UAB, if they were competing in the SEC, would probably finish about 7th or 8th. So right in the middle of the pack, pushing up for that top half of the pack in the SEC. Shows you the level of competition that they'll be getting in this scrimmage and will give them a really good idea of where Auburn sits at as a team right now. So looking forward to anything that may come out of that, although they're not going to be sharing stats. It's supposed to be closed for a reason. Takeaway number 4 would be the discussion about the NIL versus the practice facility that we both know are of equal importance. Now, Coach Pearl continues to reiterate, even so in this press conference, that NIL is the priority right now. But when addressing the practice facility, noted that he doesn't want to rush into it. So even if it was the case, we need this practice facility. This thing needs to be done right and made, suitable not just for them, women's basketball, everybody else who needs those type of practice facilities. Now, he did go on to note that it has been frustrating that they haven't been able to get on the floor a whole lot during the preseason practice, especially with the way volleyball's been doing it, and rightfully so. He even noted that, said that it's great how good they're doing, and we want to keep them out there, and we want our time as well. But sharing this thing obviously can be a little bit of a time crunch on everybody's schedule. So that balance still continues with more of an emphasis on NIL. And finally, more of this is just kind of speculation based off of what Coach Pearl said about the starting 5. Maybe a bigger topic to handle later on in the future, but just some interesting points to talk about here. He did say that 2 of the 5 spots he believes are ready to be taken, are already taken by 2 individuals when it comes to the starting 5. Now, he did describe some of the matchups that are happening. Janai Broom, Dylan Cardwell, neck and neck. Yawan Traore and Jalen Williams, neck and neck. And then even the 3 spot, which I would bet some of these guys can move around to maybe the 2 as well. You got Leor Berman, you've got Alan Flanagan back, you've got Chris Moore, who had a great summer and is really right up there, he continues to say. And then, of course, you got Chance Westry, who's coming back from injury. It's going to be really interesting to watch these matchups. And if you kind of read between the lines, maybe you can guess the 2 spots that are already decided. But hey, anything's up for grabs, and I'm just happy to have this much talent to talk about on Auburn basketball. All right, so those are the takeaways from the Pro Day and the press conference with Coach Pearl. Love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What stuck out to you? More specifically, if you got any opinions on who those starting 5 might be, or maybe that starting 2 that are already decided, share with me down there below. On your way out, be sure to make sure you smash the like button if you enjoyed this, and be sure to subscribe along with that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads or live streams here on this channel. Check out the ways you can help support our content listed in the description for this video. You can become a channel member here by hitting that join button, or you can head over to patreon.com/E2C Network to join up with the Booster Club for $1 a month there. Thank you for tuning in here today on this video. We appreciate tuning to the E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience. War Eagle.